Hello, Administrator 2055 here, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, FAF with the Nomads. And, if anybody was ever wondering why I didn't do many videos with other players and more with AIs, even though I have online now, it's mainly because, well, then you have to get the permission of every single person, and overall it's difficult. Especially when you're such a small YouTuber like me. So, same problem with fraps and everything, but if you've been keeping up to date with my videos, you will know about that. And, yeah. So, we're playing on Gentleman's Reef. And, first team is up here, I believe, and second team is down here. It's not even, as you can probably clearly see. I'm down here playing as my nomads, and yeah, and then the top, like, my friends. I don't actually remember who my friends are. Let me just check that. Yes, I got these three people. And there is one person, this guy here. He is a tech, and he's rogue, so he has no ties to any team. And well, so he's also going nomad, so might have some trouble with him. But this is a replay, so I'm not actually playing this live. And yeah, so I know how this is gonna turn out, but I wanted to show this one video because, well, in this one I end up becoming more like a little virus. The rest of my people don't do much. Like, for this match, they basically just sit around once in a while, send out some troops, maybe take over some of these civilians down here. But overall, not much happens. So yeah. So for now, let's just speed it up a little. We are playing with a mod of the real time is all that counts kind of thing. So we don't need resources, which is why I'm not building resources. But the AI doesn't know that, so therefore are still building resources, which is what is slowing them down so much. I am upgrading my commander to T3 in order to be able to build some experimentals, and then eventually, well, do what I wanted to do with them. But the thing about the experimentals for their experimental carrier that can carry these, like, experimentals, which can come in really useful, especially in late game. I guess with resources it'd be a little more difficult to access these, but for now I think, like, with this mod, it's actually more fun because you don't have to actually wait. I just love the size of this. These really sad little engine. Like, look at how small these little engineers are. They're all so sad. They're all so small, and they don't look nice. They look like a rip-off of the Aeon that just got stepped on with some UEF building tech. Like, so I disagree with that, but overall, it's still pretty nice. Like, if you know the Nomad story, it makes sense for their engineers to look like that. So of course I got my little experimental guy onto my transport, and really right now I'm not going to do much with him. Like, I could go and win the game right now, but that would make for a very boring game if I just went over and won the game. So, well, this guy, I might not be able to win yet. Like, that is a massive army. Quality over quantity. That is the secret. And this guy's going all quantity here. So, our attack squad, our special attack squad, is going to be made up of these support commanders. And one of the things I love about the the nomad support can actually, you can stop them from having weapons. Like, you can disable weapons. And I don't mean that as like stop it from building normally, but I mean it literally as in you can get rid of their engineering school. As I'm probably going to do with this guy here. So their engineering hand is this tripod hand, like this triple finger. As you will see shortly, I'm going to actually get rid of that entire arm. And I think it's on this guy, and I replace it with one of my favorite things. The nomads get a rocket launcher, and you can give a rocket launcher to both hands or a single hand. Or no hands at all. But one of the things I dislike about the nomads is that they trade that off for no teleportation. In their true commander or support commanders, there is no teleportation. And yeah, well, these are the rocket launchers here and here. But one of the things I do like is this capacitor. Anyways, what it does is basically allows you to build stuff faster no matter what your resources are, which is really useful, and it reloads easily. Oh, and by the way, something really, well, I guess, cheap about the nomads is this upgrade. Orbital bombardment. You can actually orbitally bombard with like these missiles and stuff without taking any resources to reload. It's just a counter, like a little 40 seconds, I believe, a minute to reload, and you can constantly bombard people from vast distances away. Like the UEF, they got their billion nuke, but it'll actually take up resources to use, which can get kind of annoying. But meanwhile, the nomads can actually not take up any resources to do the same thing that the UEF does, with a little less accuracy. I can't completely complain, because with the UEF, if you really had enough resources, you could speed up the production and actually be bombarding people every second, just constantly bombarding. Meanwhile, for the nomads, you have to wait a few seconds, and their orbital bombardment doesn't do as much damage. It's still, well, it's still too strong for something that doesn't cost anything to use. So hopefully they might change that, or if they make the timer longer. It doesn't really matter. Like, since Nomads is just a mod right now, until it becomes a full thing, I wouldn't worry about it. Look at the size of that though. Like, just looking in here kills my frame. I am at 8 frames per second. Just look at this face. I'm at 8 frames per second. Kind of busy. And almost everything's here, like gunships. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I hate. The robbing of the T1 gunship from Cybern. I love the fact that Cybern was the only one with the T1 gunship. And now, that's been taken away. Looks like all of them are... This army makes the least sense. It's made up of, like, all land units, but they're on a tiny little island. And they've only got, like, 2 air transports, something like that. And sure, they're going back and forth ferrying, but why do you have so many people? You don't need all that. Voice crack. But you don't need all that. And these are the T1 gunships for the Cybern. But really, what's the point of all this? By the time you get them all there, it'll be worthless. So here are the rocket launcher arms. This one has like a Gatling gun and 2 rocket launcher kind of things. Like, not rocket launcher, but more like mortar. And I don't know what this guy has. He looks like just normal. And this guy's normal too. So, oh yeah, I also built a sea factory to check out what the nomad sea units look like, but that will take forever to build. So, oh, and I love that building because it actually shows you how long it's going to take until it's built, because you have to wait till this one reaches the end and then comes back in order to know when it's going to be built. I'm going to skip ahead a little just so that this video is a bit shorter, doesn't take so long to, and overall you don't really want to watch the boring beginnings of this unless I get a better taping system, because it's probably very blurry from what you're seeing. So yeah, see you then. Also, I'm just gonna say, as I watch these tanks kind of just wobble a little, I will be getting a new computer soon, so hopefully that'll help for fraps and for taping. Also probably lesser the lag on my computer and make my CPU ping less high during the starting of some games, just to help out the fact that sometimes I'm kicked for it. But it's not as bad as one of my friends who has a horrible CPU ping. So normally I'm okay-ish, but sometimes I get a bit of lag because of this. But yeah, when I get my new computer, that should be pretty much solved. And back to some skipping. Oh yeah, and also, not only can you disable a building ability, but you can also double the building ability but get rid of weapons, which allows faster building but no fighting ability. This is my special little squadron, made up of this guy, who's our strongest fighter and probably gonna be our scout-ish kind of person. This guy with a basic gun, who's kind of just a soldier-ish. This guy has long-range artillery with very strong shots but low fire rate. And then our builder. And they'll be leaving on an experimental transport to invade each island one by one. I believe we are playing in sandbox or no, I don't think so. I think we might be playing in assassination. So, but it is going to be full share, even in assassination. Look at all those planes. But it will be full share. So, anybody who doesn't like full share, leave now. Look at all those gunships, though. That's a lot of gunships. That's not a lot of frame rate. I just gotta check some Unicap reach. Like, look at all that. 56 interceptors, 78 bombers, 65 gunships, 75 tanks, 109 anti-air artillery, 26 light tanks, and 26 destroyers, like tank destroyers. Oh, and I love the tank destroyers. 5 frames per second. Oh my god. My frame rate was dying. Absolutely dying. This is not a healthy base to be in for fraps. But look at these tank destroyers. Low fire rate, but very strong when they do hit. They're probably one of the strongest T1 units I've ever seen. They've actually almost killed one of my experimental ones. Which is kind of, when it's T1 almost killing your experimentals, those are sad days. Anyways, I think this is almost built, or will be soon. So I think I'm going to be skipping ahead a little more. So transport has been built, and any second now I should be making my progress towards it with these little guys. Actually, I might do a test of their weapons first. I can't remember when I did a test of their weapons at one point, just to see what each one looked like. I don't know if it's now or later that I did it, or earlier. Yeah, it's now. Heavy cannon shot out of one arm, and rocket launcher out of the other arm. beautiful combination. And now the rocket launcher guy with double rocket launchers who do a lot of damage but at a really far range, but the fire rate is horrible. Like if I put it at real time, look at the fire rate. And oh, did I stop him? Yeah, I stopped him from shooting. But you got a little idea of what his fire rate is like there. And then this guy was my favorite with his little Gatling gun here. And his missile launcher on the other. Well, not rocket launcher, but it's kind of like this cannon thing. It's the anti-tank missiles, but he gives him a faster rate of fire, a double fire out of this arm. I also love how they took the time to animate everything in that one shot. Just the thing goes back, there's a cloud of smoke, the boom, everything just perfected. So, back to normal time. I think we do an all together, yeah. Or do we just, no, we go to transport. If you're wondering what everyone else is doing, this, oh, hold on. This is what they're doing. They are doing boringness, so don't think I'm just looking at myself for the sake of looking at myself. Nobody's doing anything. If you wanted, I could go over and I could sit on this island and I could look at all these tanks bouncing to each other. If you really wanted, I could sit here all day. I think it'd be more interesting to watch that giant spaceship though, out in the distance, all these tanks going. Aw, I wish I were in that giant spaceship. But yeah. So this is my little group of attackers. I will skip ahead a little until we reach this island, which is where our first attack takes place. And we are back and arriving at the island. Now, I'm not going to actually charge in. I want to grow like a little growth on the side of this guy's base. So I drop it off in such a position that he doesn't realize I'm here. Well, not starting anyways. And I build myself a little support base using my one builder who I have brought along. So first of all, we make an anti-air, because since I thought that this guy was shooting all at the air, it would make sense to build an anti-air in order to defend from whatever he was shooting at. But really, our biggest problem was actually the land. It was actually not. This is where building a huge army comes in useful. Yeah, lovely sands. And I make sure to keep this Sam alive as long as possible. It's kind of a weak Sam though, because it hasn't even killed these people. So like really weak Sam when you think about it. Oh, I'm building a shield generator. Now I love the Nomad shield generator. Let me just put this into slow motion for a second. At first glance, it's a normal bubble. But watch this thing. I just love this. All normal shields, like all the other factions, they've just got, well, basic design, you know, maybe a few dots. Like this looks like an Aeon shield almost. But none of them have this neat spreading, waving motion throughout it. And one of the other things I love is that the upgrade actually changes it. Like when I upgrade it to the stealth shield, as I will soon, it actually changes the way it looks, not just its function. Which is kind of the same in the Cybran ED shield, the EDI, but at the same time it's not the same, because they keep the same shield color and stuff. The only thing they change is the size and the look of the actual generator. But look at that. And now it waves more constantly and more beautifully in this nice purple setup. And at this point I'm showing some people at my house like what these shields look like, because this is my first time ever seeing them, so I was pretty excited about it and kind of just admiring the shield. So I actually go ahead, talk to a few people, and so it could take a little while, but I build another shield generator, destroy this one, and then eventually send out my scout, destroying the shield generator. Now I have no clue that this army's here, so keep that in mind. I have no clue that there's a giant army massing along my border. Like, this is what I see. I have absolutely no clue there is a giant, monstrous army. So really, I think I'm good. Like, I've got the SAM launcher, that's all I really need. There's no giant army amassing on my border. I don't have to think about that. Yeah, I paused the game here to show it to some people. So, showing off the nice shield. It's neat. Kind of thing that just waves through it. And then upgrade it to show off its second nature. But shockingly neat. I love it. Anyways, so I go scouting with this guy, who's my little scout. Mainly for his ultra strong weaponry and great health. I think he's a really good person to use for scouting. Now I see the bomber and I think, oh no, bomber. I don't want him to die by a bomb. He has 4,000 health, so that's really not a problem. I decide, like, stick around. Oh yeah, they can repair and they can reclaim using this weird underarm kind of building tool, but they can't build. They can only do whatever a mantis can do, a Cybran mantis or an Aeon harbinger can do, like repair. So now I know now that there's a giant army here, and as you can see, he's got a lot of health, a lot of power. So he's fighting it, but I have no clue how many people are there. I am getting shot at a lot. So I decide smart idea is probably to turn around and get back to my base where I'm stationed, and then tell my builder that he should build some church before I die. Unfortunately, like my rocket launcher people just shooting long range. And I didn't know what I expected, but they decided they're gonna follow me. Any reasonable person would, but anyhow, I'm now under attack under my shield, and this is not a heavy shield, this is a normal shield. So of course it's not very strong. I also love that little impact thing where it kind of just bubbles out, like waves almost going through it. The other neat thing is they can actually assist the shield in regaining so that it doesn't lose its shielding too quickly. But of course it's no use when I've got this many people on my front. So eventually my shield just collapsed. And as I work on my second shield to help defend, I have to take the hits so my buddy won't have to. Like my buddy's over here. Because we can't lose the building. That's the one thing we cannot lose. But now we got our T2 point defense with a really strong point defense with an area out of that. Which is, but of course they got a kind of slow fire rate. But we don't have many people in the front, so they didn't send their full army in. So we're not holding them off too bad. As you can see, my missile launcher guy being able to go pretty long distance with a shot trying to fire at this fact. He can't quite accomplish it, but he doesn't quite know that. Anyway, now we know that they're here because we managed to build a radar. So my missile guy doing some amount of damage, firing one. Destruction. 50 kills on him now. 31 on him, 20, 0 on my builder, of course. Of course, we do need to end this. My transport is over here, just kind of hovering in the sky. Look at the little eensy beensy T1 transport here compared to my experiment. Beautiful size comparison there. Anyways, we decided we are going to need to charge soon. Firing some long distance shots to kind of get a few people out of the way. And once we find out that the enemy is not really relenting and continues moving forwards, I decide I think I'm going to charge more toward. As you can see, nobody else on the map doing anything. Nothing at all. Just sitting back. Relaxing, I guess. It's almost sad that I'm actually the only one doing anything in this. Of course, they're all easies except for one tech, but the tech is just, he's at his unit limit, so he can't really do all. Look at these transports. There's so much you could be doing with those. And those beautiful gunships, those could have killed me by now. Now that I think about it, anybody could have killed me by now with these T1 bombers and these T1 gunships. They could have charged over, shot at me, and the one SAM I had wouldn't be able to save me. I'd probably build some more anti-air and save myself anyways, but it's still, like... So right now we're basically just healing this one guy, helping him regenerate his health, our little scout, who will then charge in and go for the win of a commander kill. 44000. So we have 4 times the health of this commander. 4 times his health on one of my supporters. Utter destruction of what little army we had left. All people who have missiles firing out their missiles now. Look, like this guy has one arm with missiles, one arm without missiles, but he's still assisting our one major missile launch person at long range attacks. while our scout person charges forwards for the win. Destroying the front line. That machine gun did a surprisingly huge amount of damage. Their commander decides he's gonna come out and fight me. But I don't want to kill him just yet. I want to bring all my people forward. Let them all bathe in the glory of a commander kill. So, and bring what of the group can fight. I bring them down to join me. My one builder, I believe I leave him behind. But as you will see, the missiles do a huge amount of damage. Any reasonable person running. Nope. Destroyed. My air transport starts coming in order to pick us up and bring us to the next person we decide to grow on. Anyways, I will skip ahead until we reach our second island. The island of Flounder. Great naming for a very watery map. Alright, skip ahead until then. And we are back to the arriving of Air Administrator. Dropping off our group to yet again grow upon this larger-ish colony. I'm surprised they wouldn't prepare knowing what happened to their buddy. Beautiful little 4 musketeers. Back at my base, nothing's really happening. Now that I think about it, I could have been building some stuff with him. But oh well. Nobody's doing anything. Like, there's a large enough force there to kill almost everybody. Same thing here. Not quite the same thing here. They kind of have less forces, but still plenty. Like, if they really wanted, they could have done a lot of damage. I don't understand AI. If this were real players, there'd be a lot. It'd be a lot different. Just look at that force. Like, that is huge. Like, death to frame rate is what this thing is. You can hardly even tell what's happening. Look at the huge mass of stuff. And almost everyone's out of fuel anyway. For some reason I don't grow yet. I don't remember why. I was checking on some people, and I believe I was also checking on these people down here. Oh yeah, that's why. I can't see it in here. But I was really annoyed about something going on over here. That I would be seeing this weird green circle, and at the time I didn't know what it was. So I killed my radar, I did a whole bunch of stuff like, what is going on? But in the end, it was just, I clicked this button that did something that was a bit unexpected. So as I try and figure that out, it takes a little while before I truly understand what happened. It takes a little bit. So I'm going to yet again skip ahead a little because while I'm trying to figure that out, I don't really do anything. Oh no, I am building a base. Yay! So we do start growing now after a little while of what was going on over there, and I begin my growth this time, knowing to put down some point defense almost right away to put down some point defense and a shield generator. So now we're ready. We know what we needed to do. And I thought the shield generator was giant. I expected it to like cover this entire area. So I put up some point defense up here, but in reality it didn't cover quite as much. It's almost laughable how little it covered this huge T3. This is the heavy shield generator. No more of the little itsy bitsy light stuff. And I believe you can do the same thing as Cybran and like EDI this one and expand it, which is nice, but at the same time, well, I can't click on it now, but at the same time it's robbing from Cybran yet again, and I don't think the nomads are that original for that one part. You can find most of their stuff in other factions in a different form, but in the same kind of setup in reality. So yeah, sometimes I don't like the nomads for that. Though I try and have it on +10, it's running at -3. So I didn't know you could upgrade at the time. Like, I didn't understand that. What I ended up doing is just leaving it as it is, not knowing that there were upgrades, and leaving this tiny little shield generator. It'd be useful if they sent out this little land scout to go check out why in the world there's a weird growth. I don't even know if he knows I'm here. Like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have a clue that I'm here. Actually, if I go to Flounder, that's just kind of a weird thing that stuck around for some reason. Yeah, you can't see that. So I'm going to yet again, the reason why I'm skipping ahead isn't totally because, like, I understand there are people who would want to watch this entire game play out, every micro piece of it, but one of the main reasons is it takes forever for the videos when you put them on YouTube to like render in. So I just like to make it short as possible, and considering this is a very long game, I just like to make it as short as possible. So yet again I'm gonna skip ahead a little, and yeah, see you then. One thing I just want to say, most epic point defense. Like, look at that raise from the ground, lean forward, grow the gun out of it, and that's T1. That just, it looks nice, especially in slow motion. Alright, skipping ahead again. So yet again, sending out our scout to discover what armies lie in wait for us. As I will learn, it's a much smaller land force, but rather a huge air force, which actually causes me a lot of problems considering I only had one SAM, if I can find it. So I end up building a lot of anti-air on this invasion. But for now, I'm just going to go and see, because I'm expecting a lot of land units. I'm not expecting this many air units. These gunships end up quite a pest for this one though. So I'm happy for the ones I got rid of before. Managed to cause me. But I'm taking a lot of air damage. and I decide to back up back to my base. And I find out my sand is not enough to deal with this. Like, SAMs do a lot of damage, but they don't widely they don't shoot at many people. I don't know the word. I know there's a word. I can't feel it right now. Like, I don't know what it is right now. But so I start building these T1, which are actually very useful for multiple targets. And not exactly, they are pretty strong. Now we're firing out of these gunships who go out rather quickly. I love how the bombers, they just get their bombs out and then die. No time for anything else, just bombs and die. None of them were even planning on coming back alive. Look at that neat little, twirly little cloud of smoke down here. You see all these gunships? They could have solved so many problems earlier. 1,000,001 gunships. So again, heal my scout up to better health. And I start using, there's that extra build ability that allows me to heal him extremely rapidly. But then after that, I don't want to waste it because you can't actually turn it off. So I need to build something else, so I decided I'm going to try working on a SAM before I run out. So I begin working on that SAM and getting ready, and little do I know that actually comes in pretty useful later in the next air attack. I think I got rid of all the air, but there's lying in wait for me. But like all these different little groups of AIs here are doing really nothing. Like besides just sitting here. Like this is a large enough force to solve every single problem in this entire area. You could have wiped me out, you could have gone over here and wiped me out again. But nope. That is a frightfully big army. But most of them are out of fuel by now. But over 100 gunships. So yet again, going in and scouting. Knowing that these bombs will do little to me. So I continue charging. But then when I find out that there's gunships, I start getting a little bit more wary. The difference between the bomber and the gunship is you can actually dodge a bomber. Bombers are rather easy to dodge. It's harder to dodge a gunship, which makes them a little more annoying. Yet again, with a new SAM and all the anti-air I had gathered up comes in oh so useful. There is no surviving. Epicness. By now, I think I completely eradicated this Air Force. Like, there's no way that they're still alive, right? I think I took down 20 of them, more even. And I'm pretty much right. Except for these gunships, which could have solved this huge problem of my growth on them. But they decide that they're gonna stick back and not send all these gunships out, which could have solved all this if they were really smart. Anyways, I charge forwards with this little scout, destroying anything that comes my way. Because I just want to get this over with by now. I'm gonna go kill the commander. I don't need to gather my squadron up. I'm just gonna go and kill him. I think I actually lose a man. Like, I think I actually lose him. Or the next one I lose. Maybe him, maybe another guy. I can't remember exactly who I lose. But I do lose somebody. I'm starting to think I'm in over my head. And I start backing off out of it. Trying to hold off, but holding off a few people come towards me. I've also noticed that there's this huge map. That looks funny. But I noticed that there was this large group of gunships. It just looks weird when they're all together. But so I start backing out, fearful that they might destroy me. And I believe it's a little while until I charge forwards again. So I think I'm gonna do one more little skip just before him. Also, pardon me for sounding so tired today. I went to sleep so late last night and woke up maybe too early this morning. And I've been playing on my computer like all day. So I might sound a little tired in this video, and just, that's my explanation. So I decide I'm going to charge forwards with all people who have any form of weaponry, making my little Three Musketeers group of fighting warrior people. Of course, my one builder in the distance here, who's just following along, but really can't really do much. So I have my three main people up in front. Their commander already low in health. Overall, is a really easy target. I just got to see what 1 frames per second look like. My, what lag is going on now? I don't know what it is that's happening on this map that it'll be. I lose this one guy here, but we all really saw one guy dying. Like, we saw that coming. He was the one guy who wasn't upgraded his health bonus. So it's reasonable that he would be the one to die. So after solving that guy here, and we move on to the strongest person on the map, missing a person. So we'll skip ahead until that, because it actually takes a little while for everything to settle out, especially because I'm going to make a new person to join us in battle. So see you then. Something else I wanted to point out for the building of the Nomad Support Commander. He actually starts off with no head. And then after a certain time of building, 2 arms come down and actually give him his head. And then at that point, he begins being like truly, well, how do I say that? But like, he begins being truly finished. I'd like to put that into slow motion when he actually gets his head. Oh, there's the head. So the head's just stored up here. until it's needed. Until it's brought down to his body, who right now is just like a glooming little yellow ball or something that yeah, just fuck. He honestly looks, oh, there goes the head. Like, I love that design of the head just falling into position on his body. And then after that, he finishes almost directly afterwards. It's the most beautiful support commander build I have ever seen. I could say he looks a bit flat, but like, if that's the only thing I can complain about, it's not worth complaining. He also looks like he has like dragonfly wings on his back, or like a jetpack, so I would have loved it if they could incorporate that. My other squadron just kind of hovering over here as I build another transport to carry him over to join them. I'm not sure if I know what's really over here. No, I don't truly know yet, because my only air scout badly shot down. Since he's a tech, I'm always expecting that he's gonna make a higher tier unit. So like I would have loved it if he had built an experimental. But oh well. So yeah, we're gonna skip ahead because this is a pretty big map, and trying to cross it with that one air transport that's actually not that fast will take a while. So see you then. I just like to say that massive gunships here looks really funny. Like just this huge glob of gunships. Like how many gunships? There are all the gunships, over 100 gunships, right here. Right in this. Over 100 gunships. Lol. I just like to say, what are these anti-air turrets doing here? Just, yep. You're really gonna have some problems with aerial vehicles out here in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, some person's gonna probably try sending some bombers out and bombing right here. Like, what? That little blue circle is their range. You would have to be within that blue circle to get shot. What in the world would lead you to drive into that little blue circle? Anyways, continuing. And we are back, eradicating what small forces on this island. If you watched my last video telling you about the ghetto gunship design with the huge air transports and that light experimental. If not, check it out. It's actually really good and one of my best videos I have. So, anyhow, since my last scouting trip didn't work, I decided I'm gonna scout using this. Hopefully being able to survive this massive air force, which I don't really know is there. So I'm just gonna drive it right into the middle and hope to get enough information. I expect them to be building an experimental, so I expect to be looking for experimental units, not a 1,000,001 air troops. This leads to an interesting experience as I start approaching. By now I think I'm starting to get the, no, not just yet. But when I see the first group of bombers, I start freaking out. But there's no point in truly freaking out because, like, after all, this huge thing has got so much health. And really, I'm just here to scout. But here to look at that. Like, if I put that in slow motion, my computer is not going to look at all the incoming fire on this. There is enough fighters on this. shoot it out of it. I can experiment. All the while taking out plane by plane and racking up kills. Millions. I got 52, 9 on this. Or it's just absolutely strong. Of course, I'm eventually taken down. But now I got the information I need. Sending in my group of 4 yet again, but this time around the outskirts and making my way in. So now dropping off my troops along his shores, a further distance than where I normally drop them off, but still sufficient enough to cause some damage. Just watching all those air troops in the sky fly around. They decide to do the, what is it called? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Meaning sending in one person at a time. Just slowly sending in one person at a time to go and deal with me. Well, actually, they send in this entire line of bombs, but they're all out of fuel, which makes for rather easy targets for my anti-air. But they still get their bombs in, and as long as they get their bombs in, they're dealing damage to my shield. And as weak as their bombs are, the mass amount that they have is doing quite a bit of damage. Of course, they've also got this large lineup, really large lineup, so that line of gunships can easily kill me. Nope. My shield almost being out of shield. Next one will do it. My anti-air having to eat some bombs and my support commander's alive. It's no problem though, because they're wiping them out fast enough, even with minor losses. Everybody plummeting to their death. With very little true damage done, my anti-air solving every little incoming problem. We are doing rather well. Look at all that AA, just firing up to that one plane. It's beautiful, just beautiful. But now I realize that there's also an army of land units. It's time to start solving that problem as well. T1 point defense is better for mass groups, and T2 is better for single strong units. I decided to balance it out, making a line. Building point defense on point defense. by now, I start realizing that this is taking quite a while. So after building my last few point defense and my T2 point defense as well, and making a second one of those T2 point defense, I decide I'm going to eradicate the last guy fast. Fast but efficiently. And you'll see how that comes into play soon. It's almost dizzying to watch this base full of air vehicles in the weirdest locked together position. It's strange. I don't even think he has a single one with fuel. Oh, he's got 20 people with fuel. As they are being bombarded by area of damage, is actually pretty much destroying through what we would and I'm sure my 99 to 100 kills on this Sam, 54 on this one, and a whole line of nice 5, 2, 2, 1, will at least a constant amount of kills. He doesn't have to worry about overfilling his unit number anymore. He used to have 500, his unit count. It's been lowered from 500 to 200. It's been 32, 29. It's going down. Almost invincible little growth on his base here. But this is all worthless if his commander doesn't die. And to be honest, I forget how I take out his commander. I either charge in with all my troops here after building my second line, or I take this air transport with my laser guy and wipe him out like that. I honestly can't remember how to kill him in the end, but I know it's going to be a really neat way. I built my second line of point defense, and whatever was left is no longer left. Wow. So much veterancy. Nothing is surviving this. Like the huge amount of incoming fire is just... it's insane. What little was left of his army just being completely destroyed. You know it's bad when you're throwing engineers at them. It's really funny because this entire time everybody else, oh, and I've got my little Air Force, but everybody else has been doing nothing besides gathering up people and sitting. I believe almost everybody is at. Everyone's just sitting by, doing nothing. Who in the world is... oh, they've got a lot of units. But you see this? They're all terrain. This could solve all the problems of this huge, massive army. But nope. Oh, so yes, I do kill him by laser. As you can see, very efficient way of destroying somebody. Also, very epic death. Love that death. Still love that death. Destroying what little's left of the base. And I believe I send over my air squadron to help me in my next attack. So with all of this out of the way, our last attack is easy enough, and I decided to make it swift. Just quick and deadly. With as many airplanes as humanly possible. That was a lot of airplanes. So he's not the only one who had a massive air force. Sending in my huge air squadron along with the ones that can't fly as fast, being out of gas and all. But luckily this guy will be able to charge. But I have defeated, so there's no point. So I have defeated the last guy. I'm sorry I missed that. But hopefully you liked that. This was a I can't say it was completely a test. This is more or less just keeping up with the videos, because I'm in a very good video making mood, and on the long weekend right now, it's the best time to be making videos. Got plenty of time, and I'm allowed to make videos all day. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe.